Hello, it's Mike at the Man Shed, and I'm working on my 2004 Harley Fat Boy, and I was doing the cam chain tensioners. A little apprehensive since it's the first time doing one, and wanted to share what I've learned and what I did with those that may be in the same boat that I was in. So I read a lot online in the forums, and I ended up buying the Hartland tool to remove and put in the bearings. Since I'm using my cell phone, sorry, I gotta flip it around a little bit. So one of the things that I didn't like was the jaws seemed a little bit tight going into the bearing, and I didn't like the idea of forcing it in. So I read in a forum where a guy had actually taken a hammer, and what he did is he took the jaws here and he just kind of forced them together a little bit, tapped them. I had a bearing that I used as a say a jig, and I tapped it together and I got it where it fit in there pretty snug, but it tapped right in, and attempted my first bearing. What I found is that the plunger that opens up the jaws and secures the bearing wasn't in all the way, and it pulled right through. So I was a little disappointed and a little apprehensive because I didn't want to knock the needles in. I guess that's what I was afraid of, was knocking the needles into the case. So what I did is I put it in all the way, and I don't know if you can see this or not, but I took a Sharpie, and let's see if the sun went down here. I took a Sharpie and I drew a line right here where it shows me when it was fully seated all the way in. And that way I knew when I tapped it in that it was fully seated into the end where it spread the jaws out, and twisted the bearing right out, not a problem. Another thing that I read about is the old bearings, which have a cage. And then everybody says to use the Torrington bearings, which are fully roller bearings. I was kind of wondering what the big deal is, because on my cams I had some chatter from the bearings. And let's see if I can get this for you. You can see this right here, where it actually tore up the surface. I was a little disappointed, but I was thinking about putting in some Andrew cams, and this gave me justification with my wife to do it. Excuse me. And I always heard about how the factory bearings were bad. I even talked to Harley, and they said don't put factory bearings in. I just wanted to give a little demonstration on the fit. And these are the old cams, and this is the old bearing. You see how it wiggles, how much room and play there is. And what I want to do is take one of the new bearings, the needle bearings, all the way around and slip on there. And this is the cam that was worn. And you can see that there is, even on a worn cam that even has a little bit of a wear on it, you can see that there's hardly any movement or roll. So for everybody out there, that's the tool, and it works well. Just make sure that you have the rod all the way in, and definitely go with the Torrington bearings. You can see the play between the factory bearings and the Torrington. This is Mike at the Man Shed signing off. Everybody have a good day.